Hold on. Right, should be able to hear you now.
Beautiful. Can you hear me okay?
I can, mate. I've got Jake to set this all up. I have no clue what I'm doing. Here he is. That even brings me
Good lad. How you doing, Jake? You all right, pal?
Awesome. Looks like you've got a proper studio, mate.
Well, this is like the broom cupboard. I'm the Harry Potter of my house, mate. This is like a broom cupboard that I've just sort of done up. Are you all right if we just, like, we had a wee chat, didn't we? I better look at the camera here. We had a wee chat at the California Superbike School, so we sort of got to know each other there. But apart from that, we've never met, have we? So how about we just crack on now and, just start the podcast and see where we go?
Yeah, perfect, mate. Sounds good to me.
Nice one. Do you have a tipple of choice for the evening?
Oh, I have, mate. See, I'm a left A man.
Good man. Right, Slange, let's get these open. Excuse us, folks.
Beat you to it.
It is so... Oh, you already started? It is so hot. I've just took the dog for a walk. My God, it's over 30 degrees here. I took the dog for a walk and she just could not be arsed, I tell you. She couldn't wait to get home. She's lie on the floor. Right, Peter, right. God, what's the best way of saying this? Basically, we met at California Superbike School, as we've already chatted about, and you and another family sort of got together and created a racing team called Zipped Up Racing, didn't you? And that's specifically to try and help youth racing talent within the UK motorcycle sector get into racing, like a reasonably good level. Is that about right?
That sounds about right. Yeah, definitely.
Go on now, mate. So,
on a personal level, so I've rode bikes for probably around 9 years, and I've been your average track day warrior. Something I've always wanted to do is racing. And I've always tried to get my son into motorbikes from the age of 4. And unfortunately for me, he had no interest.
Oh, no, you're kidding.
He'd entertain his dad and he'd come out and he'd ride, but he had no interest of learning more, progressing more, basically.
Right.
But I stuck with it. And I wish I was him back in the day, because the boy was sport right and he's had every bike going. But it took basically till the age of 15 for it to actually click with him. And
wow.
He came to watch me actually messing around on a go-kart track on a mini bike, and said, "Dad, can I have a go?" So it was his first time on tarmac. So we'd always done off-road stuff and dirt bike stuff, but it first time on tarmac, and he just took to it like a dream, basically. So it cost me a lot of money straight off the cuff, buying a couple of bikes. But we didn't mess around. We entered the British Mini Bike Championship straight away, basically. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it properly. So we chucked him into it. He was on the 140 class, which is basically all adults. At this time, he just turned 15. And bless him, he rode his socks off. He learnt so much, and he finished 16th overall in the class, which was amazing for his first year. So this is what you were getting onto about two families. When we first went to the British mini bike scene, we parked up next to a lovely family. They were in a big old race truck, and we got friendly and chatting with them and sat up and had a barbecue and stuff. And really funny story that if you ever speak to them, it's Barry and Haley will tell you that basically they don't own their own house. Barry decided to use their deposit for their house to buy a race truck. So it's an ongoing saga, but it's brilliant. They absolutely live for racing. They've got 2 boys. And they absolutely love racing, and that's where the name of the team came from. The 2 boys had already had this name developed. They already had this idea of a race team, and basically with me and my son coming along, we just made it happen. They'd had plans to basically take their boy Nathan Ellis Ward to Bemsey, because Bemsey do a pre-teen class. So it's the only place or only club that did a pre-teen class, basically, and you can ride a Ninja 300.
Mm-hmm.
So they were 2 years away at this point, and they've been saving to purchase a bike and take him to go racing. I'd watch this boy, and this boy's got some talent. And I said to Barry that if you wait, it'll be too late. We need to go now. I said, I'm taking Jake. Let's take Nelly. Let's do it together, and we'll bring your dream to life, basically. So that's what we did. So that's where the Zipped Up Racing team name and was formed, basically. We basically brought their dream to life. And it's blown me away. I would never have thought, like, we're in our second year now, but when we first started, things would have developed and grown so big, basically. And I believe it's only because of the vision we have to help the kids. It literally has blown us away. But that's how we started. And little Nathan Ellisward, it might come across very rude, but he's my little superstar, and he was my little fat kid. So basically, you're watching these motorbikes, you're watching them race. This little chunky boy was flying around doing things on a motorbike that shouldn't be possible for his size and weight.
Yeah.
And he absolutely blew me away. And the kid has so much determination and talent, is unbelievable. If you knew him from when I met him and you knew him today, you'd think he's a different person because of his drive and ability. He's lost all his weight. He's super fit, and his goal is to be at the top, basically.
Good lad.
But him and my son, basically, people think they're brothers. They hit it off, and they ride in style. They ride in sync. And I mean, my son's moved up now to the 600 class, but when they were on the bikes together, you couldn't tell them apart. Mm-hmm. So they've helped each other progress along the way, which is really nice as well. But from that little bit of a story, that is where the team has developed from, really.
I've got to say, when I saw you at Cadwell, I was up doing levels. I've got videos coming on these eventually, folks. I've got so months worth of footage to get through, but there are a couple of vids coming from level 3 and level 4 of California Superbike School, and that's where I met Peter. I mean, that little team that you've got, it's as tight as you'd like. These kids off the bike are just like normal kids, aren't they? They're laughing and joking and getting up to mischief. You put them out on the circuit. Well, I mean, they were going by me, no problem whatsoever. But you couldn't pick them apart from like the other top level racers that were out on the circuit. They're phenomenal, weren't they?
Yeah, they are. And it's what they've learned riding them 300s. They can carry so much corner speed that you forget. I mean, when they first went out, I followed them on my 750, and honestly, it blew me away how much corner speed they can carry. I forgot a couple of times that I needed to brake for the corner because I was following this. But no, their ability is amazing, especially when you look at them out on the track compared to adult racers, people that have been doing it for years. You can't tell the difference. They've got something. They've got some talent, and I think that's why we developed it, because we could see this. Mm-hmm. We could see the talent, basically. But the other thing for me is part of the team is, I mean, I've been around it and I've seen it, and motor racing's all about money these days. Our team's totally the opposite. So we've made it our mission, basically, to be helping people that don't have the funds to throw at it, and give all the fancy stuff and help them along the way. We're completely grassroots, and to me, the rider has more passion, the family behind it has more passion and drive, and it means so much more. So that's the main thing behind the Zipped Up Racing team, was the vision to help these kids get to where they want to be, and give them a chance, because without people like us, and if they don't have the money to put up front, they wouldn't get the help and the chance to do what they're doing. So the whole team is developed to find riders with talent, not with money, not with funds. Daddy's not paying for everything. We just want to help and give them a path. So eventually we will have a path from the British Minibot School or Fab Racing, to Bemsey, and they'll ride in the Junior Kawasaki Green Team Cup. And from there, we will be having our own BSB team as well. So that's something exciting. No, that's something exciting that we're just putting in the process together now. And our first rider is stepping up to BSB next year. So, yeah. Wow. So the plan is all coming together slowly. So we've got.
Hang on a minute, Peter. Hang on. Chrissy, Dom, get this geezer on Chasing the Racing. If you're listening, get this geezer on Chasing the Racing. This is stunning. Right, I'm going to message them and tell them to watch this.
I'd love to speak to Chrissy and Dom. I listen to them all the time. They're brilliant guys. And Dom's done quite a bit of British mini bike riding in our time as well. But so that was the plan. It's progressed so quick. We've done 1 year basically at Bemsey. This is our second year. And already one of our riders is at a level where we're progressing basically to the BSB, to the Junior Championship. So we'll be taking our rider, young Max Hardy, basically to BSB, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we're just sorting out the booking, getting him a wild card for the last round of the BSB at Brands GP. So, watch this space.
Oh, mate, that's mint. Now, I've had the odd racer on here before, but predominantly this podcast it's all about people who've got a story to tell that fits in with my mantra of live your life. And obviously bikes feature heavily in that, but it's not specifically racing focused. So for anyone who's not familiar with what is Bemsey? Could you explain to people what level that Bemsey is?
So you could almost say Bemsey is the next step down from BSB. So there are other championships as well. We decided to go with Bemsey just because they had a pre-teen championship. And young Nathan Ellis Wards won that pre-teen championship in that first year of entering. So, we definitely made the right decision to go with Bemsey, and they are absolutely phenomenal. If anybody wants to get into riding, second to none, the club is amazing. They're so helpful. So just to put into perspective, we contacted Bemsey. There's a lady called Tracy and a guy, Mike Dummett, basically, who run Bemsey. We contacted them and said, look, this is what we're looking at doing. We'd like to bring our two boys across next year. Can we get some information? They were absolutely amazing. Sent us some tickets to the last round of the year and said, come along, come and meet us in the office. We'll take you along the garages, speak to people in the class, get a feel for it, ask advice. They just guided us everywhere, basically. And we got to watch the whole day and see how it developed. And what was quite good was young Nellie's mom, Hayley. She was dead worried about stepping up to the big bikes, mainly because it's faster. They're still kids. And when they crash, they crash. That was a big worry. And the particular weekend it was raining and very windy, and there were some big incidents at Brands Hatch. One in particular at Paddock over the hill, a guy come off through really fast through the gravel, hit the barriers, ended up actually hanging in the fence. And the team were amazing. So within 2 minutes, there was 2 or 3 doctors with him. He was out of the fence. The padded fence was repaired. The gravel was repaired. Within 10, 15 minutes, the track was backed as it was. The guy was full medical care, over to the med bay, all sorted, no life-threatening injuries. And the track was back open and running. So for that, literally put into perspective for Hayley, that this is the safest place in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you guys are all road riders, if you have an incident on the road, you've got to wait for that ambulance to get to you. You don't get a doctor in that ambulance. Where on the racetrack, it's totally the opposite. We've got 2 or 3 doctors at the scene instantly. Yeah. The medical coverage is second to none. It's amazing. It's probably, I would say it's one of the best.
Yeah, definitely.
So that put a massive confidence basically in all of us, because they are still kids, and especially Nellie. Nellie was 12 at the time we moved to Bemsey, So to put him on
going into
12 years old, first round at Brands Hatch, yeah.
Hiya. I'm kind of whispering, folks, because it's 7 a.m. here. So I don't, and it's so hot already, I don't want to wake my neighbours up by me shouting down the microphone. Apologies for interrupting, folks, but we've got to do some sponsor readouts. We are sponsored, as always, by Inov. Now, Inov sponsor the podcast and also the main TeapotOne channel. They specialise in dashcam systems, autonomous dashcam systems for motorbikes, any vehicles really. They have the dual K series, K3 and K5, which is front camera and rear camera. K3 is all 1080, K5 is the flagship 4K front, 1080 rear. All their systems are totally autonomous. Once they're set up and wired into your bike, the second you turn on the ignition, they start recording. They detect any sudden movement through like a G-force sensor that's built in. And if they do detect anything like that, such as a collision, an impact, any sudden movement, acceleration, deceleration, then they automatically lock those files and they are sort of protected on your SD card. They have parking modes on them, so even when you park your bike up and move away, your bike is still protected. They have external microphones, so you can even vlog with them, which I've done. My California Superbike vids, they're all filmed on the track with the Inov system because you're not allowed to wear helmet-mounted GoPros and things like that on track anymore here in the UK. They're fantastic bits of kit, folks. Primarily, they are insurance purposes. You know, they're there for insurance purposes. But I would say the quality of the front camera, especially on the K5, you know, I still integrate some of that into some of my vids over on the main TeapotOne channel. Personally, I love having the peace of mind knowing that I'm covered on the bike should anything happen. I've had it in the past, and I wish I'd had these systems on my bike then. Check out the link down below in the show notes, or if you're watching the video, have a look at the vid description. There's a link there to Inov. Click that. It is a referral link, which lets them know you've come from me. It helps me hopefully keep them as sponsors. And if you use the code TEAPOT, T-E-A-P-O-T, you'll get 5% off of all Inov and Techologic cameras.
Yeah. So he was 12 and Jake was 15, and the boys just took to it. It was absolutely fantastic. Amazing. So Bemsey is a really good club to get started with. And the Green Team Championship, which is supported by Kawasaki, is absolutely fantastic. They can't have you enough. On the Friday, they give instructors, they teach the kids, show them the lines. We get track walks on a Friday night with an instructor. Yeah, you couldn't ask for more, basically. Yeah. It's really good. If you want to get into racing, it's the place to be.
Sounds a great setup. Peter, I need to address this. I don't know if it's just my side, but your video sort of fluttering and flickering periodically. Folks, if you're watching the video, bear with us. The sound is coming through fine to me. If you listen to the podcast, you'll not notice this.
Videos. Yeah, it's just a shit camera. Oh, okay. Jake, my son's saying it's just the camera.
All right, no worries. It's all right, mate. It's no problem. But just so folk know, it's not your computer. It is actually at this end. But bear with us. We'll be fine. So what's the youngest sort of age then that kids get involved in the racing with you guys?
Well, it was 12, but there was a few incidents like worldwide last year where sadly there was a few youngsters that had passed away from riding incidents. Yeah. So the age limit changed this year basically. So now it's 13. Officially you can't race on an MSV track until you're 13 basically. Yeah. Which also sort of brings me onto the lines of where we met, the California Superbike School. Yeah. That's something we worked with them basically to be able to put these youngsters on the track and learn in a safe school environment basically on the MSV tracks. Because the problem you've got is when you go racing at a young age, they can't. There's no practice. You can't go and do a track day until you're 16 basically. Oh yeah, Yeah, so at 13, you're getting no experience of these tracks. So you basically get a Friday practice, you qualify Saturday morning, you get 2 races on a Saturday and 2 races on Sunday, and that's it. You've got no way of learning anything to do with these tracks at a young age.
Wow.
So Sort of where the vision came from behind the team as well, because we all had this vision that if you want to get into racing at a young age and be at a high level, if you look at a lot of the British riders, they all went off to Spain at 12, 13. Yeah. And they all done their riding and training in Spain because the limitations aren't the same.
Is that why? It's because they can actually get on the track at the young age?
At a younger age, yeah.
Oh,
so that's the problem we seem to have over here. And exactly the first time I went to the California Supersport School and met Gary and Jane, and they asked me about my riding and what I do, and that's where I brought up the team and told them the story what I've just told you, and said, it'd be lovely if you guys could do something like this in the UK, where we could put 13-year-olds on track and you could teach them what they need to know. Because the biggest problem I see in the UK is if kids want to go racing, they get thrown straight into racing, and basically they enter at race pace, and they have to, all they know is to go fast and try and win.
Yeah, and there's bound to be incidents then, isn't there?
Exactly. There's no skill or knowledge behind it, really. So this is where the conversation with the school was absolutely fantastic, and I say it'd be amazing if you could get youngsters on the track, not necessarily racers, but people that actually would like to get into motorcycle, because there's nowhere to learn at that age. You can go and buy a mini bike and go on the go-kart tracks, but there's nobody advising you. It's just, get on and go as fast as you can. Yeah. So to learn these skills, there isn't anything. So after speaking with Gary and Jane and all having the similar vision, they decided to take it upon themselves and contact and work with MSV and get through and see if they can sort insurances out and things. And we put a really heartfelt email together about the team and where we feel it would help and help bring our youngsters through. And a year later, well, as you saw at Cadwell Park, was the first event where 13-year-olds were allowed on an MSV track under a school environment. And
was that the first one? I didn't realise that.
Yeah, so that was the first ever one. It took a year basically to get to that stage, back and forth.
Why is that, do you think? Is it bureaucracy? Is it nerves? Is it like nobody wanting to actually make that decision?
I'm going to say insurance is probably one of the big things.
Yeah.
Because they are kids at the end of the day. I would probably say the main issue is going to be down to insurance. And do MSV want to take the responsibility? But as it's a school environment, you ride at 75%, as you know. Everything's slowed down. They're not there to race. They're not there to put themselves or anyone else in danger. Yeah. So it is a school environment. So I would say that's one of the only reasons why it's progressed this way. And Gary and Jane that won the Superbike School, as you know, absolutely amazing. They've ticked all the boxes. They just put on such an amazing day. And for me, really, it's how the day runs is they slow everything down. So when our team went there, they weren't there to race. They weren't there to go as fast as they can around the track or use it as a practice day. The skills that they basically learned were to be slowed down and learn at 75% of their ability. And it does work. It really does. Well, I saw you out on track. You were flying by the end of the day.
I tell you, I've done. Like, I'm not endorsed by California Superbike School at all. Gary and Jane have become mates now because I've done 4 sessions there now. But it's without shadow of a doubt, it's the best. It is the best race tuition available in the UK at the moment. To Joe Blogs, to just a member of the public. You pay your money, you turn up, and you do it. It's brilliant. And as you said, they break it all down into small little incremental chunks, don't you? And the biggest thing for me is, like, level 4 was held as the holy grail, wasn't it? You got to do levels 1, 2, and 3 to progress through your skill levels. You get to level 4, and then, if you wanted, you could do 10,000 level 4s, because level 4 literally breaks down. It's one-on-one almost, and they break your riding right down to, is it your turn in? Is it your vision? Is it your body position? Which is the main issue that they identify and you identify initially in a consultation phase. They break that down, and then you don't move from that until you've sorted it. And then once that's sorted, okay, this is the next thing that you work on. So I finished level 3 thinking, Valentino Rossi here, no problems, I've had the money and lost a bit of timber, we could make a go of this. And then you do level 4 and go, I can't ride. You've got to build it back up again. It's awesome. Yeah. I loved it, genuinely loved it. And I'm looking forward to editing the video for you folks so you can see what level 3 is and then what level 4 is. And hopefully we'll do more level 4s and carry it on.
Yeah. Well, my son's done exactly the same. He's completed all level up to level 4, and he's done level 4 numerous times now. And the fact that you, like you say, you can go back and you can say what you feel you want to work on, or the coaches can tell you what they think you need to work on, and that's what you work on throughout the day. And it's brilliant. It's really honing them skills in.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really good. Really good.
So,
go on.
So go on. Apologies. Sorry.
What I was going to say was going back to the kids in the UK basically just getting thrown on a track and going out there to race. Where for us, what the school did for us was giving them an actual knowledgeable understanding of how the bike works, how the rider should work on the bike with the track basically, and putting it all together by slowing it down. So that for me is one. It will help the rider understand what the bike's doing underneath them, but they can put everything they learn from the school into any aspect of riding that they do. Makes no difference what you do, even if you did flat track motocross. Everything they teach there you can apply to any aspect of riding, and yourself touring and things like that. It does help. It really does. The little things they teach.
Yeah, definitely. It's physics and bike mechanics at the end of the day, isn't it? A lot of it, and that's as applicable on the road as it is on the track at times. It's just different levels, obviously. Right. So, Team Zipped Up Racing. I'm going to say, how does someone qualify for that? But obviously, it's not a case of people qualify and then you come. But say there's a parent, guardian, or a youngster out there that's listening or watching this, and they think either I've got a talent, I really want to go for this, or this kid really has something. What would they do to get in touch with you?
Yeah, well,
and would you take them?
Wow, so this is the interesting thing. So this is how we've grown so big. People have seen what we do, and the main thing that what we do is we keep it fun because they are kids. So it has to stay. We have to keep that kid level, and we have to keep it fun, even though what they do on the track is dead serious and they're putting their lives at risk.
Yeah,
we still keep that fun side of it, and that's what the whole team's about. So. Because of this, we have had a lot of interest over this year and a half of people wanting to be a part of the team, basically. If that was the case, we'd need like 5 or 6 garages. Yeah. Everyone wants to be a part of it because we do keep it fun, but we also help the kids with every element that they need from the track. So getting involved. Ideally, we sort of select the riders, but as a team, we're there to help everyone. So to put into perspective, at the last round of Bemsey, there was a young lad and his dad sent our direction from the Bemsey race office to go and see the team. They'll point you in the right direction. They'll help you with any advice, and that's exactly what we're there for. Our main point really was when we joined Bemsey. It's quite scary to go from a small mini bike go-karting track to a huge race circuit with kids. It's quite scary. It really is. And it's also why I never started racing, because it's the unknown. You do not know what to expect. So we'd done a year. We knew the ins and outs of everything. And we felt like what we wanted to do was give the opportunity to 2 youngsters every single year to come through and join our team, basically. Take that scariness away, speak to them at the mini bike tracks and say that we're there. So you can turn up, you're going to have a team there that will help support you, already has knowledge of tracks, gearing, bike setup, things like that, which takes all the worst bit away of joining a race club, really. So that was a big part of the team, and that's what we've continued on. We want to help people, and we do. Like anything goes on in the paddock, if we can help, we help. We'll jump on and help repair someone's bike or something like that. But no, our plan is to bring more youngsters through. At the minute, we've got quite a full team this year.
How many have you got now then?
So we've got young Nathan Ellis Ward. He's, in fact, I've made a little list now. So he's age 13 now, Nelly is. We've got my son, Jake Marsh, who's 17, who's just jumped from a 400 straight to a 600. So that's been an interesting challenge to jump straight out of that.
Jake was
in your class.
Cardwell. Yeah.
Jake's
overtook me many times.
So you've got Jake, and then we've got someone a little bit different. So I'll tell the story about this. We've got a guy called Nigel Franklin. So Nigel Franklin is 72 years old. So when the story behind Nigel is when we joined Bemsey, completely new to it, we were always there watching the boys, and Nigel was always either on the paddock wall or on the fence or somewhere watching. So Nigel's other half works for part of Bemsey, and Nigel helps out Bemsey as well. But Nigel was a racer for years with Bemsey. And he was always on the fence. And he offered myself and Barry, would we mind if he gave our boys some advice? He said, I can see them. They're absolutely trying their hardest and they're crashing all the time because they're trying their hardest. Would you mind me giving some advice? He said, I do it every year. At the start of the season, I look for some young talent and offer my knowledge and advice. And he blew us away. You would never think this guy is 72. He's like a spring in a box, I'm telling you. He is absolutely mad. But what he did with our boys was amazing. So, he gave them confidence. He helped them with circuit knowledge. And he just became like a mentor, basically, which was brilliant. So we made him part of our team. We kitted him out in T-shirts, everything. And at the end of the year at presentation, we're sat around the table and Nigel said, I want to be a part of the team. So we all said, you are part of the team, Nigel. He said, no, I want to dig my leathers out and I want to ride as part of the team. We thought he was joking, but clearly not, because he's riding this year. And I'm not going to tell a lie. He's still got some skills. But it's great. He's out there. What he loves is actually being out there doing it with the boys. He just comes in with a huge smile, and the boys see that. Everybody sees that. It's what we're about. You have to be enjoying it.
Absolutely. There's no point, is there? There's no point if you're not enjoying it. It's like what you said. Make it fun. Keep they are youngsters, but everyone wants to do it because initially it's the adrenaline rush, isn't it? It's the fun that you get from it, and that can go. It's like any competition in life. Once you add competition into it, things get serious, don't they? And you can lose the passion. So you need to keep it fun. Absolutely, it's no different than anything. What I do for a living now, making these vids for YouTube. There was a while there where I just lost focus on it all, and it's like I've got to create content, and you lose the passion for it, and you have to find that again to actually, to realize, hang on a minute, I started doing this because it's fun. Let's get the fun back. Let's start enjoying it again.
Get the fun. It is, and it's exactly that. And every time our riders go out, we ask them what the most important thing is, and we always say to smile. Make sure you're smiling. And, it just puts you in a completely different attitude when you're on that track.
Definitely.
So we've got Nigel. We've got young Zach Weston that's just joined. He's age 13, same as Nelly. Now, Zach took a little bit of a different path to the others. Zach actually went from the mini bike straight to British Talent Cup. So Zach's already been at BSB in the British Talent Cup. And just touching that by keeping it fun is the main reason why he's came back down to club level.
Oh wow!
Because the fun wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
It's very serious, and when they're kids, there's a lot of pressure on them. And unfortunately, he did have quite a bad incident at Snetterton and rode his bike off, which cost his dad a lot of money to repair. And that's how we got in touch. So I spoke to his dad and I said, our next round of Benzie is at Snetterton. I said, I've got my boy's old bike. If you'd like him to come and ride it, I said, that might build his confidence to get back out on the track a little bit more at that particular track. So
yeah,
they came, they borrowed the bike, they rode with the team, and they had that much fun. And a quote from his mom and dad was, what you guys are doing is what racing's all about. And, we want to be a part of it. So, so they basically joined the team this year, and young Zach is absolutely flying at the moment.
Awesome.
So, so that's a really cool story. And it all relates to what we were just saying, keeping it fun.
Definitely. So for your riders in zipped up racing at the Benzie level, whether you're 13 or whether you're 72, do you all just ride together? Is it just purely depending on the class of the bike?
So the particular class that they ride in the Green Team Cup, there's a senior and a junior class in the same race. They all race together
in the same race.
In the same race, but there are championships and overalls basically. So Nigel is on the track with the kids, and that's why he did it, because he absolutely loves the fact that he can go on there, and also that he's given them advice for a year, and now they're giving him advice because he's on the track and they're helping him go faster. So it's such a cool thing that they, roles have reversed, and our kids now are helping him develop new skills, because back in the day when he was riding, the level has changed so much. You can almost compare it to MotoGP when Marquez came. He changed. He was a game changer, and it's exactly the same with Nigel. His level of riding from when he rode to where the kids are doing now, he's learning off them. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point that when Marquez came on the scene, he was a freak. He was an alien. Yeah. I mean, they called him the alien. He did things that nobody ever did. And now everyone's doing that and raising the bar, aren't they? It's he's almost become the old school Rossi, who's still capable, but, he's going to have to fight to compete with this new breed. It's phenomenal. Yeah. The skill levels across the board and everything now is just going up. Yeah, wow, stunning. I think a lot of that has to do with organizations such as yourself. You look at the Rossi Academy. You look at everyone's got academies now where they're passing on all that knowledge and skill that they've taken years and years to learn and to build up. Well, they just pass it straight on to a younger generation who get it so much quicker, and things just develop, don't they?
Yeah, they have new abilities. I don't know where it comes from, but these kids seem to be able to do things as old ones can't.
So apart from you guys, apart from zipped up racing, is there any? And obviously, there's the British Talent Cup. Is there anything else in the UK that does what you do?
Well, you've got the Michael Laverty Academy. So there is an academy there, from the mini bikes.
I hadn't heard of that before.
So they've got quite a few riders now in the BSB, and also have their first MotoGP team as well. So that gives us something to aim for.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
So yes, but there's not really. And I probably would say, the fact is, it's money. It's putting money behind it. So, I mean, us as a team, we fund everything ourselves. We've had some cracking help this year with some sponsors come on board and things, but everything else is funded basically by the families and the parents of the riders.
You're kidding? What you two families fund everything?
So. No. So basically, the individual families fund their individual riders, and what we've done along the way is helped out with getting sponsorship to help out with it. It's mainly products, basically things that things that cost, which that are ongoing costs throughout rounds, like knee sliders and things like that, oil changes and things. So we've managed to get some sponsors in place that can help with things like that, the ongoing costs. Because that's the thing. If we can keep the ongoing costs down, these people can come and race and be a part of this. So, in the future, maybe it's something that we'd like to look at. We'd love to take this name bigger and have almost like what you say, an academy, but it is a path for me. I'd like something to bring youngsters through that they can see a vision at the moment that zipped up racing can come from mini bikes to Benzie to BSB. And next year we'll have all three of them stages. So yeah, it's difficult, but at the minute everybody funds their own riding, and we help out with some support basically.
What are you looking at then to fund a season racing for one rider? What is it possible to have like a ballpark figure that this is what you sort of need?
Well, once you've got the bike, get the main part out of the way.
All right. So what would the bike cost then, just for the bike?
So at the moment, you'll find at the end of each season there'll be a lot of the Ninja 300s come up for sale. Maybe some 400s actually this year, because there'll be a new one coming out. So you'll be looking at, to put into perspective, when we started, we managed to buy each one of our bikes for £3,500. Wow. And that came with tyres and spare set of fairings basically, and a few bits and bobs. So, it's reasonable. But when you look at where people are coming from riding mini bikes and things, it's quite a big cost. And then you've got your entry fees. So you're looking around £4,000 for your entry fees, 4.5 for the year.
4.5 grand.
Jeez. Yeah, it's around. It works. It's around just under £500 a round, basically. But that's your complete Saturday practice, Friday practice, qualifying, and 2 races on the Saturday, and then 2 races on the Sunday as well. So you do get a lot of time, a lot of riding, basically. And the club put on such a good event, you can't fault it. So you've got that. Then you've got tyres. So, but then your tyres look at. So we did quite well on tyres last year, because the boys weren't running at a pace where they're destroying them, and the bikes haven't got the power to be putting that much traction through, basically. I
suppose so, yeah.
They do wear quite well. So last year for us, we could probably get away with 2 meetings a set of tyres. Wow. This year, now the kids are really pushing on, we could probably do 2 rears and a front over a weekend.
Yeah, victim of your own success, mate.
Yeah. But, we've got to keep them safe on the track, so we need to put the right tyres on, really. What's also really nice is that the category we're in is a controlled class, so everybody runs the same tyres. So at Benzie, have a deal with Rod Harwin, who basically runs tyre support and things at the track, with them, that we get them at a discounted price. Right. So it's around £200 a set of tyres, basically.
What tyres are they then? What's the control tyre?
So we're running Dunlop tyres this year, and they are just a road tyre, just for the Ninja 300 and 400, basically. So it's not a particular race tyre, so it does keep the cost down a little bit.
What one's that then? What one's that is running? Do you know?
It's a B.
Sorry, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll put you on the spot.
I'll get it by the end of it. I'll get it by the end of it. But it's it is a controlled tyre. So we all run the same. They run a controlled map as well, basically for on the dyno. So each bike has to be just under 47 brake horsepower, basically.
47.
Yeah. So the year before.
Hang on, I got spanked by 47 brake horsepower.
47 brake horsepower, yeah. Last year when it was a 12-year category, the 12-year-old, the preteen class, won 37 brake, so they were 10 brake horsepower down behind the rest of it.
37 and 27.
Oh, sorry, I'm telling you wrong. It's 37, so you actually got spanked by 37. Last year, Nelly was on 27 brake horsepower.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
So
I've only
30,
got, I've got 135 on the GS, and I still spanked.
Yeah. So this is what I was saying about how much corner speed these boys can carry.
Yeah.
But the same particular bikes are running at BSB, and they're running around 50 brake horsepower. Right. So it shows they're governed down for this class, and it does make it safer, and it does make it more interesting. Some really good battles, because it comes down to rider ability and skill, and not horsepower.
Yeah, I'll bet.
We're also sponsored by Ultimate Add-ons. Now, Ultimate Add-ons specialize in mobile and action camera mounts and cases. They are dustproof, waterproof, impact-proof. You find a case for your specific phone, and then you pick whatever mounting solution you would like from the multitude available over on their website. I actually use the Helix strap mount. That's the one I've used for about it's almost 5 years now. Nearly 5 years I've been using this stuff. But yeah, I use the Helix strap mount. That comes from their bicycle section. It just allows me to quickly and easily connect it to just about any bike out there. Find out why Ride Magazine gives Ultimate Add-ons their coveted Best Buy certification. Keep riding this winter with Ultimate Add-ons. It's all about the journey. If you head to ultimateaddons.com, so that's ultimate with ADDONS at the end, ultimateaddons.com, use the code TeapotOne with the number 10, TeapotOne10, you'll get 10% off their entire range.
Dude, how about we tackle some questions? There's a couple of questions. I was quite late. My fault. I do apologise. I was quite late in posting up, but we've got a couple of questions to go through, and we'll see where that takes us. So I'll do the Patreon ones first, folks. So that's patreon.com/TeapotOne. Feel free to join. It's much appreciated. First one, Louise Worsfold. Hi, Bruce and Peter. Firstly, I can't make Donington Park, so if my name is drawn, please redraw for someone who... This brings us on. Okay. You have a couple of free tickets for World Superbikes. We'll cover that in a second, right?
Because there's a story behind that. There is a story. Brings us to our other rider, yeah.
Definitely. Louise's question. Other than money, what do you think is the biggest hurdle that prevents more women getting involved with motorsport? I say motorsport in general, not just motorbikes. Thanks for the support you all provide, and I hope Marianne is back on track soon. Overtaking Bruce on track isn't that great an achievement. Thanks. Cheers, Louise. Marianne's basically one of your riders, isn't she? She had a massive crash recently, which we will cover in a second. Other than money, what do you think is the biggest hurdle that prevents more women getting into motorsport?
Well, at the minute, I'm not seeing a hurdle, because there's more and more women starting to appear in the paddock.
Totally agree.
And I think it's amazing, and exactly why we've brought Marianne onto the team, because we want to show that what we can do with the boys, we can do with the girls, because they're just as good. They're just as good. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see hurdles there at the moment. They seem to have all been broken down, and I'm pretty sure I saw today, I don't know what it was, but I've seen something pop up on Facebook that the first woman pole position's just been achieved today by a car racer. So wow. So we actually had it at British Superbikes with Charlotte Macuso in the Junior Cup on the 400. She actually started pole position in one of the races, so she's the first female motorcycle rider to start at pole. So the hurdles seem to have.
I totally agree with you. I think the hurdle now. I think the hurdle now within biking, within almost. I'm not going to say. I'm not saying everything's too generic, but certainly within biking, I think the hurdle is down to you personally. Whoever that is. If you think there's a hurdle, then it's probably something to do with you, because the industry. The motorcycle industry, from racing right through to private bikes and stuff I deal with, it is so pro woman in biking that as a bloke, certainly as an old fat bloke, you're at the bottom of a big list. They are pro discriminatory towards women in biking. And I think now is the time, there's never been a better time for women to get into biking, for sure. Like you, I don't think there really is a hurdle, because in the private world, I've heard people say, well, manufacturers should design bikes that are, smaller, lighter to accommodate women. But I don't agree with that because, I can't remember the lady's name, but there's an American lady, 5'2", and she can pick a fully stacked GS Adventure. She can pick that up and she races it. Like off-road, she can race it. And I think it's just down to technique. I know I'm 6'3", 20 stone, but I'll struggle to pick a GS up, fully loaded if I don't use the proper technique. And the proper technique, anyone can lift that bike up. Anyone from like 12, 13 years of age. If you use the proper technique, you'll lift that bike up. And it's down to you to learn that technique. That's sort of my point of view. Controversial.
No, 100%. It definitely...
I agree that there's, and in racing, there's a lot of role models out there now for women, for sure. You've got Marianne Costello, you've got Jenny Tinmouth. Oh my God, there's a whole load of youngsters all coming through now, isn't there?
The youngsters are
loads of levels. Yeah, definitely.
If you look at the junior supersport class at BSB, there's multiple female riders there now, and they're all coming through the ranks. They're all doing really well.
Yeah.
You've even got Chloe Jones that's now jumped up into the 600 class, and we know Chloe really well. She's a lovely girl. So you watch this space. They're getting better. I don't see a hurdle. It is down, like you say, it's down to the rider.
Totally, I hear from women that they say, they find like track days and things like this all quite intimidating at times. Not all women, but some women say, I find it quite an intimidating environment. And I say, well, I find it an intimidating environment. Like, as I said, 6'3", 20 stone geezer. I'm quite intimidated when I turn up at a track just for a track day because it's a very testosterone-filled environment, isn't it? It's like any sport. It is. So it's down to you to sort of, get on with it, grab the bull by the horns, get out there and get on with it. And once you open yourself up to everyone that's there, everyone is so welcoming, aren't they?
Yeah. I think it is in any motorsport. It just seems everybody's willing to help. Everyone will give you advice. It's just such a nice thing to be around. I mean, my dad comes with us. He absolutely loves motorbikes. Yet from a young age, I was not allowed a motorbike. Not at all. If I want a motorbike, I need to move out.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. But true to his word, as soon as I passed my test, moved out, wanted to buy a bike, he helped me fund it. And
brilliant.
What we're doing now with the racing, his name's Terry, and everybody calls him GT, Grandad Terry, because he's like our mascot. And I absolutely love him, and he'll talk to blooming anybody. But that just shows you what the motorcycle world's like. He knows nothing about motorcycle racing. He'll be out there talking to the best of them, and they will acknowledge him and they'll talk to him. And everyone is lovely, and it makes it all worthwhile at the end of the day. It's just such a nice place to be around.
The paddock is a very competitive environment. It's a very competitive world, but it's a family for sure, isn't it?
Exactly.
It really is. People are really close in there because, I think to an extent, because of the risks, the potential risks that are involved. Everyone appreciates that. Everyone's aware of that. Everybody knows what the riders in particular are laying on the line when they're going to do it. Everyone puts the same sacrifices in, personal and family life, financial. Everybody's sort of making the same sacrifices, aren't they, to be there on the grid?
Yeah. And we're all there to race. We're all there to watch racing. So, for us, we've got competitors that we help. We've got people that are battling our team that we help. It makes no difference. We want to see all these kids, riders, adults, want to see them on track. So, if we can help get them on track, that's the whole point we're there. All the love in the world. You wouldn't want to see somebody missing out. So the whole paddock comes to life. I mean, they'll put tannoy announcements out. Somebody needs this part for this bike, and people will come and help. You don't even know who they are, but they'll come and help. So it's just a love for racing. That's what it is. Paddock life is amazing. Like you say, it is one big family.
Absolutely. So Marianne McCartney.
Okay.
Hello, Marianne, if you're watching or listening. Okay, who's Marianne and why has she come up in this conversation?
So young Marianne, we'd watched, so me and myself and Barry keep an eye on what's going on in the mini bike world as well. And we'd seen Marianne pop up in the mini bike world, and she was a bit of a trier because she liked to crash, as she's just shown us. And she came this year, the start of this year, basically to come and ride with the boys in the 300, 400 class. And bless her, we've watched her at the first couple of rounds, and even Gary from the Superbike School was at rounds with me, and we'd watched her at Silverstone, and we both pointed out that her style is lovely. Honestly, she's got such a really nice style.
And it's just natural. She's not being coached or trained or anything.
No, just completely natural. Wow. And she's got such a drive and ability. So, your question before about hurdles, it is down to the rider. This particular young lady has such a passion and a drive to be as good as she can be. And unfortunately, at the last round, there was a grid start incident, and she got caught up in it quite badly, and completely destroyed her bike, and had to be cut out of her levers and all her gear and taken to Grimsby Hospital. So hence why we were doing the fundraiser and trying to help her family out, and donating some tickets to people that basically are willing to help. And the support has been phenomenal. It really has. I mean, As a team, we clubbed together the previous weekends. We had a bike that Jake decided to blow the engine up when he first started riding, and we'd kept it. So the only thing that was salvageable on Marianne's bike was the engine. So luckily, the team all got together and last weekend, and we built her a bike, and
awesome.
We had her back out at the Superbike School at Donington this week, just gone basically, and she was back out there rebuilding her confidence, ready for the next round. So.
Is she okay herself, like physically? Because she was on crutches. She's quite a bad crash, wasn't it?
Yeah, so she damaged a lot of tissue and muscle, basically, in her right leg. But she's having lots of physio and stuff at the moment. She was in a lot of pain actually riding the other day, but she just grin and bear it and push through. But the main thing, it was. Mentally, she's back in the right place where she needs to be and ready for the next round. So, I can't thank everyone enough for the support that people have donated to her. And it's amazing. And I truly believe it's because they're only young kids and they're out there doing it and just loving life, and people actually enjoy watching what they do. So
absolutely, yeah. So in relation to Marianne, we'll do the draw later on, but you've got 2 tickets for the Donington round of the World Superbikes, which is that 15th to 17th of July. Is that this weekend?
It's actually this weekend, yeah.
Oh, Jesus, it's this weekend.
It comes with pit passes and yeah. So and to be fair, what is a really nice touch is young Nathan Ellis Ward actually won these for being rider of the day at the Superbike School.
Cool.
And he himself came up with the idea and said he'd like to help Marianne out, and the only way he can see her doing it is, putting these up for people that donate. Will give them an opportunity to win it. So, he's 13-year-old boy, and,
good lad.
He's really, really good, really good. So, that's the team coming together. These kids absolutely, love each other to bits, and they help each other out. It makes what we do worthwhile. It really does. And it brings a smile to my face all the time.
Fantastic. How is the GoFundMe? Because I posted up on my social. How's the GoFundMe doing?
Yeah, I think they're up to something like £1,200, which is phenomenal. Wow, okay. That to us that's covered exactly what she needs: leathers, helmet, boots, gloves. 100%. Honestly, it's such a big help.
Do you not have a kit supplier then at the moment?
No. So So everything. So we work with a really good company, actually. I don't know if you can see RBS. So they're a company in Pakistan, and it's quite an interesting story because we thought, we'll get some team leathers. When the boys were in the mini bike scene, we thought we'll get some team leathers, and we don't want to spend lots of money. So we saw this company from Pakistan advertising, and we thought we'd get them. They'll be absolutely fine for the mini bikes. They're not going fast enough; they'll be all right. But to be fair, when they arrived, they are absolutely fantastic. Okay. We had them checked by a lady that actually supports young Nathan Ellis Ward, Aspire. I think it's Aspire Leathers in Matlock, and they do all types of leathers. Basically, they do repairs, the lot. And we took the leathers to her, and she basically said they are fantastic. The stitching, everything is brilliant. So we now use that company for the big bikes, and we get completely custom-made leathers, basically. So we've upped the ante this year, and we've gone for kangaroos, a little bit lighter, and stretchy panels for the airbags. So each rider funds their own kit, basically. We've just brought the people and the companies in place to help us out with a bit of discount. So we're not funded anything.
Would you be interested in one?
A funder?
a kit supplier.
We would absolutely love any help available to the team.
Right. Okay. Well, I've got one in mind, but if there are any others out there who anyone's got any contacts with, or you think they might be interested in, point them in this direction. Send them the link to the audio podcast. Send them the link to the YouTube video. Let's get Zipped Up Racing backed up here. Let's sort it out.
It would be amazing. It really would, because the vision we've got, it's growing, the speed it's growing. It'd be amazing to get people on the journey with us and look back in a few years' time and think, wow, look where we are.
It's got huge potential, hasn't it? It has massive potential, because there's undeniably a lot of talent in the UK. We've seen that through the past, X amount of generations at BSB and at World Supers and at even MotoGP level. There are Brits out there with incredible talent, but it's just a question of nurturing that and getting it through, and also grabbing hold of it at a young enough age, as you've pointed out, and developing it.
It's finding it, and the path that we're creating helps that younger talent come through that necessarily, like I said, haven't got the funds or the knowledge. So if we can find that talent that we think has a chance, then we're going to help and guide them through right to the top, honestly.
Absolutely. I mean, the not buzzword, that's the wrong word. The concern within the motorcycle sector, certainly for the last decade or more, has been, how do we attract more youth into biking? Because everyone's getting older. You can see it. Everyone's gone from sports bikes to naked bikes to adventure bikes. We're now, I would say, the vast majority of the biking sector in the UK is 30 plus, and they're all moving on to adventure bikes, and that's how it is. So what's coming through in the next wave? And I think the way we attract people in is we get them at a young age, and what better way than showing a kid with a dream from somewhere in the UK, if you've got that talent and it's a recognizable talent, there's a path through into racing where eventually you can work your way up to the very top level.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not just, as you said, sorry to interrupt, but it's not just, as you pointed out earlier, because mummy and daddy can, finance it. Because let's not beat around the bush. A lot of the top level riders, they're paying for rides. It's because they've got a financial backing that allows them to get that ride. Well, not everybody's in that. Not everyone's in that position, are they? So if we can get hold and identify this talent at a young age, nurture it, build it, develop it, and bring it through the system, I think it's awesome. I think it's fantastic what you're doing.
It is. My goal is to develop the next Cal Crutchlow. Exactly that. I I grew up with Cal. Cal lived on my estate and was a couple of years younger than me at school. And, you know, he's a very good example of a British rider. But even Cal had to go off to Spain to ride. So, But that's it. That is the end goal. Let's find some of this raw talent and help them come through and reach the top. You know, maybe one day Zip Racing could produce the next Cal Crutchlow. You know, that would be amazing.
Have you approached them?
Us,
have you contacted Cal?
Who, Cal? God,
Yeah.
Cal's a superstar now. You know, he's way up there. But you never know. His dad still lives on the same estate, and my mum and dad still talk to his mum and dad. So, you know, you never know.
Honestly, Peter, there's one thing I've realised doing this podcast is that if you don't ask, you don't get. You know, I've had amazing guests, yourself included, but I've had amazing guests on this podcast who never in a month of Sundays would I ever be in a position to have a conversation with. And the only reason it's happened is because, you know, either myself or somebody else has said, what about you want to have a chat with this chap? You know, and if you don't ask it, you don't get. So if anyone out there knows Cal or any member of Cal's team or his family, please share this with them.
Still remember me.
yeah. Cal, please. Pete, would love to hear from you, mate.
My dad was his football coach manager, so he'll definitely still remember us.
There you go. Come on.
He was a good football player as well.
Oh, Cal, you've got history, mate. Come on, get behind it. Get behind it.
But I tell you what, like getting onto that point there, I actually had it with myself last week that R&G support us, and Jack, who I deal with for R&G, actually said, Pete, you don't ask for anything. And I said, no. I said that the team's not about that. We don't ask. So for me, to know people truly want to help and get involved are the people that actually believe in the vision and what we're doing. And I don't feel I need to ask anything if people believe that, basically. And where we've got today is that people believe in the vision and seeing what we're doing and think we're doing a great job. So yeah, I struggle with asking. I know you say ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. I really do struggle with asking for help.
Okay, I'll do it for you.
Yeah, you do it for me. But then again, look, me and you had a chat. I told you my story and vision, and look where we are. We're here today. So
absolutely, you know, I mean, this is the very least I can do. You know, if I was in a position to financially help and back, I would. But you know, if I can help spread the word for you just by doing this podcast, then 100%, that's exactly what I'll do. And you know, if you want to do something in my vids or social media content, you know, we come and they can mug me off on track again, then by all means. But you know, I'm kind of like you. I'm the same. Like I don't like to be the one putting my hand out at all. You know, we're all proud, aren't we? We've all got pride. We don't want that. But I also am very aware of, if you don't ask, you don't get in this world. And that's not strictly true. Occasionally, some sort of angel appears, don't they, and presents an opportunity for you. I get that. That does happen. But, you know, to expedite things, sometimes you just have to go, can anyone help here? And there's nothing wrong with asking for help at all.
Yeah.
So if anyone can help, I've got a few names in mind that I will speak to you and hopefully we'll be able to put you in touch with. Then, you know, every foot up is a plus, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And you know, any help in the future would be amazing.
Awesome.
What I would like is a really professional, secure plan of giving a path to these kids. And, you know, if we can get things like that in place and, you know, have a true structure to it, it'd be amazing. It really would. I don't believe it's been done from the grassroots before. And, you know, the club BEMSI are behind us because they can see what we're doing. And, it's just phenomenal. The support we've got from the people above us is really good. So, you know, everything we do is just from the heart. So it's, you just real people living a dream. That's all we're doing.
Right. Got another question for you. Adam86. Hi all. what are the challenges of being involved in nurturing new British talent for motorcycle racing? It seems we're seeing less coming up to the top level in MotoGP and World Superbikes, even British Superbikes. Is it hard to get support or funding for what you're doing? And finally, just how many youngsters do you have showing an interest these days where social media seems to rule? Lots of questions there.
Lots of questions there. We've covered quite a bit of that, actually.
We have, yeah.
It's exactly right what he's saying. We don't seem to bring enough through. Straight away, money is one of the main factors.
Do you think that's the biggest barrier? Finances.
Once you go to that next level, once you get to that BSB level, you need plenty of money to do it. And the thing is, if you're going to go to that level, you need to have money behind you to compete at the top. I truly do not believe that it's worth going to that level and not being able to run at the front. These are still kids. And it's demoralising running around at the back if they're going up to that level. Mm-hmm. Two, you need to make them run at that level. We need to be giving them tyres. We need to be not running on scrubs. They need to have the best gear to be running at the front.
Yeah.
And for me, and this is why we work with Benzie as well. Is, if you're at the front of Benzie, it is such a high class of riding. When you go to BSB, you are going to be a good way up that field, basically. The ability that they're riding at now, it is putting them in good stead to move up, basically. So, yeah, he's dead right. We're not producing youngsters out, and it does mainly come down to money, I believe. There's a lot of young talent out there. And there's a lot of young talent that will stay in club racing. And just the fact they have not got the funds or the support to move to that next level. And it's such a shame. And that's what our team's about. Let's find a way, let's bring other people in to help us, because the families we work with, the riders we work with, they've not got the funds and the ability behind them to get to that level. Yeah. So as a team, we want to give them a path to get to that level and introduce people that can help them with that, basically. That's the only way I can see it. And that is my vision, to give these kids a chance and help them. Because, to be fair, the world runs on money these days. And
it does. It does. So to get a youngster involved, I know we initially addressed this, but I don't think we came up with a figure. Let's just say, right, there's 13-year-old youngsters showing some promise, showing some talent there. What sort of figure are we looking at to get them through, let's just say, the first season? Are we talking $5,000, $10,000, $15,000? What sort of money are we looking at?
If you said they were looking at a brand new bike with tyres, fuel, entry fees...
No, let's just say a bike that's going to get them in and they can compete.
Okay.
Right? There's no point in giving someone like a Bugatti Veyron if they've not got the skills as yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's have a realistic bike. Realistically, what sort of figure are we looking at for them to compete in a season?
So you would be able to do a full season for under $15,000.
Okay. Still a big chunk of money, man.
It's a big chunk of money at that level. Really
definitely. Is. Especially when you've got, how many youngsters have you got now? 4 or 5?
Well, we've got Nathan Ellis-Ward, Jake Marsh, Zach Weston, Marianne, and we've got old Nigel. And myself this year.
Are you racing as well?
Yeah, so
you got 6 of you racing?
Long story short was because we are moving to BSB next year, and we will have the Benzie team and the BSB team, we'll be flicking between the pair. And it is a dream of mine to always race. And if I didn't do it this year, I would never get to do it, ever.
Brilliant, man.
And like I said before, all the scariness was taken away because I did a full year with the team last year. Yeah. I know exactly what to expect. And honestly, it's absolutely amazing riding alongside these kids. And now the boys have actually seen that I actually can ride a motorbike, I've got a newfound respect from them, which is really nice.
Mate, have you heard of Patreon? Have you heard of Patreon?
Yes, yeah.
Do you have a Patreon page for Zip
No,
Racing?
no.
Why not?
So we're not very good. My lad runs the social media, and
Is that Jake?
Me. Jake runs the social media.
Jake,
yeah.
Jake, are you there?
He is there, but I've got
Stick
you in
your
the
head
earphones.
I've got stick your head in the camera.
Go on.
Jake, put your head in the camera, mate. Come on.
Right.
Let people see you.
Hello,
Hey there, Jake.
everyone.
You all right, pal?
Yeah, not too bad.
Mug me off royally at Cadwell. Jake, right, Patreon. Get yourself a Patreon page set up ASAP, mate. Honestly.
Okay.
I was told to set one up, and I held off for probably 6 months before I did it, because I thought, why would anyone do this? I don't know why anyone would pay any money to me. People are amazing. People are awesome. I couldn't do what I do without the Patreon support I have. It's blown me away. It literally keeps a roof over my head. Set yourself up a Patreon page, and even if it generates 100, 200 quid a month, it's a set of tires for somebody. It's something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's easy to do. It's free to do. Just get it done, mate. Honestly, set up a Patreon page, and then once you have done, do something on your socials about it and tag TeapotOne in it, and I'll share it for you. And hopefully we can get you some follows on there. All right, bud? No worries.
Yeah, awesome. That's sound, mate.
All right, good man.
Back.
Right.
There you go. Spoke to the tech.
Awesome. Make sure he sets a Patreon page up. Honestly, like I said to him, I have been humbled beyond words at the support I get on Patreon. Most of my income every month is off of Patreon, off of you folks on Patreon. So I couldn't do this full time without the support. And I didn't think anyone would be interested in it. When I was, a mate of mine said, why don't you set up a Patreon page? And I thought, why would anyone like pay to support me when they can watch it for free on YouTube? But people are amazing. People are awesome. And if you show that you've got commitment to something, you've got a passion for something, people will support that. You will find your tribe, you will find your community, and people will do it, I'm sure. And as I said to Jake, even if it's 100, 200 quid a month, it's a set of tires. Do you know what I mean? It's something, and it all helps. You can't. What I've learned in having moved to this world, self-employed world, is that you can't rely on one income stream. You have to have lots of different paths of income coming in every month in order for you to get by and make a go of it.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. And it's all new to us. We didn't expect any of this. And, it's just grown and grown and grown. So hopefully we can do everyone proud. And like what you were saying there, anyone that wants to get involved will come along, then we'll gladly get them tickets to come to any of the rounds. And because the kids automatically get a garage position, so we always have 2 garages together at the rounds. So people are more than welcome to come to the pits, get on the pit wall, be part of it, and really get a sense and a feel for what racing's about. Because, we've invited so many people along that would never expect how good it is or the feeling and sensation you get being around a race team and seeing what goes on in that garage and that paddock. It's, there's a lot of emotions. And
it's such a buzz, isn't it?
It really is.
I had some mates that did the No Limits rookie series.
Yeah.
Wait, how long is this? This is about an hour and 50 minutes. I'll mention it. When I did my around the world trip and I came back, some mates of mine had always said they wanted to race, and I'd always said I wanted to travel. I went off and travelled, and when I came back, my mates were like, well, fuck it, you did your thing, so we're going to go for ours. So they started racing in the No Limits series, and I came back and sort of just got involved with them. I was doing like the social media and website and all that sort of stuff. And it's awesome. That's where I learned, even at that level, it's like a family that's going on there. Right across people are banging fairings and battling and pushing each other out the way on the circuit. But if anything happens, they're the first people to come running to your pit, your garage, and go, what do you need? Let's get the bike back up and running for you. And it is an amazing environment. And I think particularly for youngsters, it's almost like great lessons in life, isn't it? It's like showing you what commitment, what dedication, what perseverance, what that can get you in life.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And bringing them up that way is how motorcycle racing should be. Should be. Everyone's there to help. Everyone's there to have a good time. So, there should be no animosity between racers. Our kids, in that paddock and in that class, they're enemies on track. A lot of them, they're not giving each other an inch. But as soon as they take that helmet off, they're all best of mates. Yeah, and they have banter. That's what's really nice to see. Is once them kids leave the track, take their helmet off, and they're back in the garage, they all get on. They all help each other. They all give advice. They all talk about what's just happened. It's so good to actually be a part of that.
Yeah, definitely. Can I ask then? Oh shit, what was I going to say there? Oh yeah, if there's, you mentioned there that, excuse me, if somebody wants to see what it's like, if they want to get involved, how like to come to a race and just see what's happening, get an idea as to what's involved there, how would they do it? How would they contact you?
So if they contact us through either social media, the Instagram or Facebook, let us know if what they'd like to come to. They can see if they go onto the Bemsey page or they go onto the Zipped Up Racing page. It'll tell you what rounds we've got left. And if it's something that they've got available, would like to come to, just get in touch. We'll sort them out some tickets. We'll invite them along. We'll look after them with teas, coffees, hospitality. We just come and be a part of it and just enjoy the experience, because that's what it is. It's you could come to a race and have no interest in motorcycle racing, but I can guarantee once you leave, you'd have had one of the best weekends. It's not just watching the racing; it's everyone, the people around in that paddock. I mean, each rider's family, they all play a part. They're all lovely. I can't thank everyone enough that's there. And without them, we wouldn't have one of the best weekends going racing, basically.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
So what's your website?
zippedupracing.co.uk.
Okay. And then your socials, you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've also got TikTok as well, I noticed.
Have we?
You're like, do we have TikTok?
We've got TikTok.
Yeah,
we have.
I'm on TikTok, Jake. I'm on TikTok. Yeah, folks, I'll leave all the links down below. If you listen to the podcast, check out the show notes. If you're watching the vid, check out the vid description. Make sure, at the very least, you give them a little support there on the social media to get those numbers up.
Definitely. Even things like that, if we could get help on the social media side, that'd be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Because I do believe we've got enough content. It's just having time and knowledge to what to do with it.
All right. So what if you would welcome someone who could maybe edit your content and produce stuff for social media?
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
That's a damn good idea, folks. If there's any 8-year-olds out there that know what they're doing, like anyone out there that's got the finger on the pulse with regards to social media, then drop Peter a line via the website. Again, links down below, or any of the social media, and offer your services, because I'm sure they will be gratefully received. I genuinely do believe, Peter, that through the biking community, we should have enough contacts to certainly ease things for you, whether that's financially or whether that's just people stepping up to help promote, to help, do some of your social media promotion, something. I'm sure people will step forward and help out here, but they just maybe need a little poke up the bum to get them to do it. That's all. Yeah,
definitely. No, it'd be brilliant. We're all about help. That'd be fantastic.
We've got. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just about to say how we've been working is we can only go as far as good as we are, and just to put into example, this year, mine and Barry's ability and knowledge for motorcycle racing has got to a point this year where our kids are now at that ability and that speed and pace where we need a proper bike setup. and we don't know that. We can give them everything to support them mentally, emotionally, and from my riding, but on a setup level, we struggle. So for us this year, we've joined forces with NW Racing, which is Nick Weston Racing. So and this is where young Zach has came to us. So when I told you about young Zach had been to British Talent Cup and then come and join the team, well, his dad and his team are unbelievable. So for them to want to be a part of working with us has took us to the next level. Okay. They've now brought to the team bike setup and working with the individual riders. And, that was above me and Barry. So we're open to work with anyone that can help us go to that next stage. So for us to, partner up with another race team to be able to take our team to the next level is what it's all about. And we know we can't do it personally ourselves. So we need to work with the people that have the knowledge and the power to do it. So that's a big shout and a big thank you to Nick Weston Racing, because what they've brought to the team so far this year is unbelievable, and the changes they've made to the setups for the kids is second to none. So big thank you to them as well.
Nice one. Nick Weston Racing, good on you. I've been thinking while you were talking, just regard to finances, do you qualify for any sort of like lottery grants or anything for in terms of like youth development? Is that one way you could angle it?
Yeah, you're not the first person to mention this. So it's something I need to look into, because, from a youth side of it, and we want to train these kids. So maybe there's a possibility that we can get some help, because it would be nice. We've already looked into and started writing an actual school program, because like, as you know, what the California Superbike School do, it'd be absolutely awesome for us to not produce on the same level, but something similar that they could work up to a California Superbike School on mini bikes. So if we could have our own training school on mini bikes for these kids, that would be amazing. So yeah, maybe it's something we can look into.
Cool. And again, I suppose if anyone out there has any specific knowledge about this sort of stuff, would you be open to hearing from them?
Yeah, definitely, honestly.
In regards to like writing business plans and all this sort of stuff, because I mean, for me, it's like alien territory. I'm just like, what's this?
Yeah, it is, because what we've got is something that can really be developed, I believe. And with the right people on board that can come in with these ideas and visions alongside our vision, I think the sky's the limit, really.
Beautiful.
As long as we keep that vision that it's all about these kids and giving them a path, and it's not about money. It needs to be about the kids' future, and it's, just giving these kids a chance from the ground up. So yeah,
100%. Yeah. But sadly, the way the world works, it's money will facilitate you doing the things you want to do in order to provide that service to them. It's like a necessary evil, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got one more question, mate. Are you all right you got time for that?
Yeah.
So this is over on Instagram, folks, which is at TeapotOne Insta. Again, I'll leave the links for Zipped Up Racing and their socials down below. This one's from Carpin Matt. After the massive PR... Oh, here we go. Oh, this could be topical. After the massive PR disaster at Northwest 200 and TT, what do you think Dunlop will do to not only get the public back on side, but riders too? I saw a few switch to Metzler for the TT because of the delaminations. This is interesting. I get on well with Dunlop, and I had a chat with them at the TT about this. Go on, what's your verdict?
What, on the tyres? Wow. We saw a lot of it. So we saw a lot of club races posting and things like that. And the main comment reply was, we're not riding on the roads. We're not doing the speeds they're doing at that constant pace. So, we've all been running these tyres for X amount of years. It's just, it doesn't apply to us at that level. We're not pushing like them guys are pushing on normal roads. So, they were, and I 100% saw it. There was people getting rid of tyres left, right, and centre. But for me personally, I don't see that travelling down to our level of riding using those particular tyres.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they have been caught short a little bit there because, you know, the bike development has progressed substantially where they're producing, you know, 200 odd plus mile an hour road racing bikes. You know, it's phenomenal, the speeds and the power and the torque that these bikes are kicking out. But we don't get that. Like for any road rider out there, not road racer, road rider, Joe Blogs like me and the vast majority of people listening and watching this, we are never, ever, 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 ever going to test any of those Dunlop tyres to the degree that these road racers do. The road racers test them to a higher level than even short circuit racers do. It's phenomenal what the road racers are putting those tyres through. And they use different tyres to what short circuit people do on the whole, don't they? So, I mean, I've had mates that have gone, oh, I'm never putting Dunlop on my bike again. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Well, you're an idiot. Why? It's never going to happen to you. But I did chat with Dunlop about this at the TT, and, you know, it's an issue that they've got to address. It's like, plainly, at that level on road racing, the bikes are now pumping out such performance that they're going to have to step up their tyres for whatever reason. And I think that will go across the board, entire manufacturers. It's got to be developed, hasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. There's not another race like it in the world. So,
no,
you know, they're extreme levels. They need something.
But then it is a PR disaster. You know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it is a PR disaster. How do they combat that? I don't know. I mean, they cannot come out and say what I've just said, so I don't really know how they combat that. But I use Dunlop every day on my bike, and you know, I've got no worries that I'm going to delaminate a tire on my GS. It's never going to happen. If it did happen, then all right, I'd have something to say about it. But it's never going to happen. It's nothing to worry about. Yeah, Matt, I would just say, mate, if you're using Dunlop, don't worry about it. If you're not using Dunlop, give them a bash, see what you think. And mate, I don't know what to say about it, to be honest. Right, dude, how about we do this draw for the tickets?
Okay. So we need, 1 second, we need everybody that has donated.
But it's shout out time again. We are also sponsored by the Influencer Store. Now, I've got a little spiel to read for them. The Influencer Store helps you build your brand, big or small, providing you with a solution and apparel. We help you to increase your fan base while supporting you with starting your own influencer clothing line with nothing more than just an idea or design, and there are no hidden costs. For more info, come check us out at theinfluencerstore.co.uk or drop us an email at online@influencerstore.co.uk for more information. Now, if you bought any of my merch over at the TeapotOne.com website, little plug there, all my merch is handled by Roger and Charlotte over at the Influencer Store. They're a family-run business here in the UK. The reason I've gone with them is because I used to use the online stuff with like Spreadshirt, Teespring, those sorts of things, but the quality just wasn't there. You know, they'd fall apart after 2 or 3 washes. Their stuff's top quality, and I'm also helping British business. So check out influencerstore.co.uk for more information, and a massive shout out to them for their support. And I've just got one shout out as always, folks, and that's to you, to each and every one of you out there who listen to the podcast or watch the podcast, who watch the vids over on the main TeapotOne channel. Just thank you so much for all your support, for liking, for sharing across your social medias, for following on the social media. It's all a massive, massive help. It's been a big jump for me to go at this full time, and I couldn't have done any of this without all of your support, particularly all of you over in the clan over on Patreon, patreon.com/TeapotOne. I'm blown away by all your support, and you basically allow me to do this full time. So a huge, huge thank you to each and every single one of you for all your support on there, and I look forward to meeting up with you again throughout the year. Please just tell everybody you know, tell them to listen to Brewtime. All right, folks, let's get back to it.
So, folks, if you didn't catch that earlier, basically we've got two well, not we, they, Pete, and the Zipped Up Racing team They have 2 tickets to the Donington round this weekend, which is 15th to 17th of July at Donington Park, including pit passes. To be in with a chance of being drawn, you had to have donated to the GoFundMe for Marianne McCartney to try and get her back up and running. And lots of you stepped up to the plate. I posted up on my socials. Peter and the team have posted up on theirs. So there's quite a few people stepped up there. So what Pete's going to do is he's just going to randomly draw one.
I'm just going to go onto the GoFundMe page now.
No worries.
So they started the GoFundMe page before we actually did this. So there's going to be some people in there that actually don't realise they're in a draw.
No problems, no worries. I've got quite a few from my socials who've said, look, I'm not available that weekend, but if I get drawn, please just redraw. So when the name is drawn, there might be a bit of a delay whilst I check socials and go, yeah or no.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so we've got quite a few in there actually.
Nice one.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Bruce. I'm just going to scroll up and I'm going to ask you when to stop.
Stop.
You ready?
Okay.
Hold on, let me scroll
you tell
first.
me when you start and I'll go stop.
Go on. You ready? Go.
Stop.
Okay. Alison Spooner.
Alison Spooner. That name doesn't ring a bell for me. Let me check my Patreon.
In fact,
nope. Right. No. Alison. Job done.
Alison Spooner. Quite a generous donation as well. So, yeah, thank you, Alison. We will get in touch with you through the donation page and get these tickets out to you in the post tomorrow.
Fantastic, Alison. Thank you very much for all your support from Marianne and the team. And I hope you enjoy the weekend. Nice one. Nice one, man. Dude, I mean, is there anything else you want to cover?
No, well, the only thing really that we touched base on it earlier, that we're taking your Max Hardy to BSB at the last round, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And you touched on support and things. Yeah, definitely. If there is anyone out there who would like to support us, next year is going to be interesting. So what we developed with Bemsey last year from scratch, building the team, we are going to have to do it completely from scratch again at BSB. And I know 100% it's going to be a lot harder, a lot more learning, and we are basically going in the dark. So any help, advice, anyone that wants to get on board, we are going from scratch. The Zipped Up Racing team is going to be at BSB with our young rider, Max Hardy. The plan will be to get him to do next year, and we will be looking to enter a 600 rider as well. Not straight away, but if Jake pulls his finger out, it could be Jake. The plan
no pressure.
Will be no pressure. So the plan is next year. Your Max Hardy will be on a 400. The bike's there. We just need some support, really, which would be amazing. Anyone that wants to get involved, that can see what the team's doing and where we're going, get in touch. But we will be there, and the team will grow like it has at Bemsey at BSB, and so eventually.
So that support, across all levels, financial, circuit knowledge, setup knowledge, everything.
Everything. We are open to everything. We are basically going there blind. And, we've done it at Bemsey and we've proved we can do it, and people believe in what we believe in. So the help's been there. So I'm hoping vice versa. We can do it at BSB. We've got the talent. Your Max Hardy is amazing. His family are amazing, and we're all behind him. So, yeah, if we can support that and build something special there, then we've ticked the next box for the riders at Bemsey ready to come through, because we've got young Nathan Ellis-Ward and Zach Weston that are, because of their age, they're 2 years away from moving to BSB. So if we can already have something built and set up ready for them, then, you've got 2 young superstars ready to come through in 2 years' time. So this is exactly what our vision is. Let's produce the riders. Let's give them every opportunity going, and let's give them a path to the top. So, yeah, if anybody wants to get on board and help us out in any way, then please get in touch. Open to suggestions.
Folks, I mean, come on. You've got to get involved with that for sure. If you've got the knowledge, if you've got the ability, please drop them a line. Again, links will be down below in the show notes or vid description. Peter, I think what you're doing is fantastic. I genuinely do. Chrissy, if you're listening, Dom, if you're listening, I'm going to be DMing you anyway straight after this. If you've got any contacts, if you've got any knowledge to pass on, even if you want Peter and the team on your podcast, I think your podcast is going to be the better platform than mine personally, because it is racing orientated. I think they'll be great on your podcast. I'd listen for sure. Again, drop my line. Links are all down below. Peter, thank you so much for coming on, mate. I really, really do appreciate it. It's been great. It was lovely to meet you and the team at Cadwell for the California Superbike School, and it's been great to chat with you tonight.
Brilliant. No, it's been amazing, Bruce. Thank you. Thank you for believing in us, mate.
It's the least it's the least I can do. I hope this helps in any way at all. I genuinely do, and I look forward to seeing how you guys do in BSB and Bemsey, and hopefully one day when they're standing on the podium, I can go, oh yeah, they mugged me off at Cadwell once. Yeah.
No, that's brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome in the garage anytime, mate.
Yeah, I would love to. Even if I can. If it would help you guys for me to come and do some sort of vid around like a weekend with you guys, then I'll do that. If it would help to do any social media based around what you guys are up to, I'll help in any way I can, mate. Okay? Anything at all, just let me know. All right, dudes. Well, thank you very much for coming on, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Again, make sure you check out Zipped Up Racing. The website details will be given down below. Make sure you follow them on all the social media. That really does help with these guys when they're trying to get sponsors, when they're trying to get corporate involvement, when they're trying to get other companies involved to back them in any way, shape, or form. The first thing companies look at these days is what's your social media engagement like? What's your following like? What's your website traffic like? They will look at that. So it's a huge help just to follow, to like, to share, to do all of that. So make sure you do that for us. Right, folks, keep doing your thing. Hope you've enjoyed it. There is lots to come in the podcast over the next coming months. I've gone full out on the podcast, so there's a lot coming. Keep doing your thing, folks. Keep looking after those that you love. Get on out there whenever you possibly can. Look after those that you love. But most importantly, live your life. Woo-ha! Dude, that was awesome, mate. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome, mate.